Assalamu alaikum. My name is Kansar Shahid. I am from chemistry department. Today my topic of presentation is electrochemical degradation and the monitoring of the industrial waste streams. Electrochemical advanced oxidation test. Objective: set up small electrochemical cells to evaluate the oxidation of an organic model pollutants and monitor the TOC removal. Technique: cyclic volumetric control current electrolysis, TOC analyzer and the COD surrogates. Abstract: electrochemical advanced oxidation process have emerged as effective and sustainable treatment technologies for the degradation persistent industrial organic pollutants in a wastewater streams. Means electrochemical advanced oxidation processes are a special water cleaning method that use electricity. These are very good at removing chemicals from the factory wastewater that are hard to break down. They are also environmentally friendly. Next, this method relies on the electrochemically generated reactive species such as hydroxyl radicals, ozone, and the oxidizing intermediates to mineralize contaminants into the harmless and the products, including the carbon dioxide in the water. Electrochemical advanced oxidation process work by making very reactive chemical using electricity. Example of these chemicals are the hydroxyl radicals, ozone, and the other strong oxidizers. These chemicals attack pollutants and break them down completely. These pollutants are returned into the safe substance like the water and the carbon dioxide. The present assignment focus on setting up a small laboratory scale electrochemical reactors to study the degradation of the selected models, organic pollutants, and to evaluate the treatment performance using the cyclic volumetry, controlled current electrolysis, and the total organic carbon, and the COD based monitoring. In this study, we built a small lab reactors to test the process. We choose one chemical pollutant as an example to study. We use different lab tools and techniques. Cyclic volumetry to study how the chemical reactants control current electrolysis to remove the pollutant using electricity. TOC and the COD test to measure how much pollutant is removed. Next, a high-performance liquid chromatography is used to examine the transformation, intermediates, and degradation pathways. HPLC is a lab tool used to check what new chemicals are formed during the cleaning process. These helps understand step by step how the pollutant break down. The study also includes estimation of the energy consumption per mass of the pollutant removed and process scaled up and sustainability. Consideration for the industrial implementation. Now we calculate how much electricity or energy is needed to remove a certain amount of the pollutants. We also should suggest how this method would be used in a real factory safety and the efficiency. Next is the introduction and the background. Industrial waste stream often contain dyes, pharmaceutical solvents, petrochemicals, pesticides, and the polymer processing fluents that are resistant to conventional biological and the physiochemical treatments. This means wastewater from the factories often has dyes, medicines, chemical, plastic, and the pesticides. These pollutants are hard to remove using the normal water treatment methods like the biological or the chemical processes. Many of these contaminants are classified as toxic bioaccumulatives and the environmental persistence. Means many of these pollutants are toxic, harmful to human and the animals. Bioaccumulatives they are built up in the living things. And the environmentally persistent, they stay in the nature for the long time. Electrochemical advanced oxidation process provide a promising treatment alternative because they operate at the obedient condition, will avoid external chemical oxidant and allow the precise control through applied potential and the current density. Electrochemical advanced oxidation processes are the good alternative method to clean these tough wastewater. They work at the room temperature and the pressure, so no special conditions are needed. They do not need extra chemicals to work. The process can be controlled precisely by adjusting the electricity. Typical EAOP chemical includes the direct anodic oxidation, indirect oxidation where the electro-generated oxidants, and the radical-driven mineralization at the high oxygen evolution over potential electrodes. Direct oxidation that at the anode means pollutants are directly broken down by the electrodes, and the indirect oxidation are the chemical made at the electrodes oxidant attack the pollutants. Radical driven mineralization means highly reactive radicals break pollutants into the harmless substance. Next is a boron doped diamonds, dimensionally stable anode, and the graphites that base electrodes and frequently used due to their stability and the high oxidation capability. Means especially electrodes are used in the EAOPS because these are the last long and very effective at cleaning. Next, this assignment aims to develop a conceptual and experimental understanding of the electrochemical degradation, pollutant monitoring, and the energy sustainability performance evaluation. Means the goal of this assignment is to learn how the electrochemical cleaning work, monitor how well pollutants are removed, and evaluate energy use and sustainability of this process. Next is the aim to study. The aim of this assignment is to construct and operate a small electrochemical cell for the oxidation of a model organic pollutants to monitor the degradation efficiency through the TOC and the COD surrogates analysis, and to interrupt electrochemical behavior, degradation, kinetic energy demands, and the environmental performance metrics suitable for the industrial adaptation. The goal of this study is to build and to run a small lab setup. Electrochemical cell, the setup will break down or choose chemical pollutants. We will measure how will the pollutant is removed using the TOC and the COD test. We will also study the electrochemical reaction, how fast the pollutants break down, and how much energy is used. Finally, we will evaluate how suitable this process is for the real factories considering this environmental impact and efficiency. Next is objectives. To prepare an electrochemical batch cell using a suitable working electrode, counter electrode, and the performance electrode configuration. Means build a small lab setup, electrochemical cell, use the correct electrode, working electrode where the pollutant is oxidized, counter electrode, complete the circuit, reference electrode, measure the voltage accurately. Next, to perform cyclic volumetry to identify oxidation potential, electroactivity, and the pollutant electrode interaction behavior. Means using the cyclic volumetry, a lab techniques to study at what voltage the pollutant react, how active the pollutant is electrochemically, and how pollutant interact with the electrode. Next, to conduct the control current electrolysis experiment to evaluate the pollutant degradation under the defined operating condition. Means using the control electricity to clean the pollutants, study how will the pollutant is removed under the set lab conditions. The COD surrogates measurements at the time interval, measure how many pollutant is converted to the harmless product. Use the TOC and the COD test to track this over time. Next, to analyze the degradation intermediate using the HPLC and infer pollutant breakdown pathway. Using the HPLC to see what new chemicals form during the cleaning process, understanding how the pollutant breakdown step by step. Next, to analyze the degradation intermediate using the HPLC and infer pollutant breakdown pathway. To compute the electrical energy consumption per mass of the pollutant and the TOC removed. Calculate how much electricity is used to remove a certain amount of the pollutants. To propose a preliminary scale-up consideration and sustainability indicators for the industrial treatment feasibility. Suggest how this method could be applied in the real factories. Check if it is energy efficient and environmentally safely for the large-scale use. Next is the material pollutant selection and the cell configuration. A suitable methyl organic pollutant should be selected, such as the DUs, molecules, methyl blue, and the reactive orange, pharmaceutical tracers compound, phenolic species, and are organic acid surrogates. Pick a chemical pollutant to test in a lab. Example includes the dyes. These methyl blue are the reactive orange, and the medicine pharmaceutical trace compounds, and phenols a type of the chemical. Organic compounds are simple models. The solution should be prepared at a defined initial concentration using the supporting electrolytes such as Na2SO4, NaCl, and the inert buffer depending on the safety and availability. Means make a solution of the pollutant at a non-concentration, add a supporting chemicals to help electricity flow. Uh, and the next is the electrochemical cell will consist of a working electrode, graphite, stainless steel, mixed oxidized, coated titanium, and the boron bonded diamonds, boron doped diamonds if available. A counter electrode, platinum, are the graphite, and our interference electrode for the volumetry measurement. Means to set the lab setup, electrochemical cell has a three main electrode: a working electrode where the pollutant react, and the counter electrode completes the electrical circuit, and the reference electrodes measure the voltage accurately for the experiment like the volumetry. Next, important operational variables to documents includes the electrode area, inter-electrode spacing, electrolyte conductivity, pH, temperature, stirring condition, and the applied current density or the potential. Means keep the track of all the conditions that affect the equipments, uh, such as the size of the electrode, distance between the electrodes, how will the solution conduct electricity, pH of solution, temperature, stirring speed at the fixing, current or the voltage applied. Photographs and the schematic diagrams of the reactor setup condition setup should be included in the final report. Means include the picture of the diagram of your lab setup in your report. This helps other understand how the experiment was done. Next is experimental methodology. First is a cyclic volumetry. Cyclic volumetry is used to identify the redox peak on the set of the oxidation, capacitive behavior, and possible adsorption of the pollutants on the electrode surface. Means a cyclic volumetry is a method to study how the pollutants react to at the electrode. It helps to identify redox peak, start of oxidation, the voltage where the pollutants start reacting, and the capacitive behavior, how the electrodes store charge, and the adsorption if the pollutants stick to the electrode surface. A voltammogram should be recorded at the multi-scan rate and in both pollutant containing a blank electrolyte solution. Uh, Run the CB experiment at the different speeds. Test both solution with the pollutant and the solution without the pollutant to compare the results. Interpretation should focus on oxidation potential, reversibility, diffusion are the kinetic controls, and the electrode passivation techniques. Means oxidation potential means voltage needed to start oxidation, reversibility can be reaction go back. Diffusion and the kinetic control means whether the movement of the pollutants or reaction speed limit the process. Electrode passivation means if the electrode surface get blocked or the loose activity. Next is a controlled current electrolysis. Galvanostatics electrolysis should be performed at the selected current densities to initiate the oxidative degradation. Means use a constant current to break down the potential. Next, a sample must be calculated at the periodic time interval and analyzed for the TOC and the COD surrogate delay. Means take sample at the set time and measure the pollutants removal using the TOC and the COD. Observations such as the color fading, pH drift, gas evolution, and the electrostability should be recorded. where the feasible current efficiency and the mineralization rate should be estimated, means calculate how the efficiency the current remove the pollutants, estimate how faster pollutants are converted to the harmless product. TOC are the COD monitoring. TOC analyzes provide a measure of the carbon mineralization. Still, the COD surrogates techniques may be used and when the instrumentation is limited. Means TOC show how much carbon from the pollutants is fully broken down, and the COD surrogates can be used if the TOC equipment is not available. Plot of the TOC are the COD. Reverse electrolysis time should be generated to evaluate the degradation, kinetics, and the determine extent of the mineralization. Means make the graph of the TOC and the COD over time. These graphs should show how fast the pollutant is degrading and how completely it is removed. HPLC analysis of the intermediates. HPLC chromatogram should be recorded to track the transformation products formed during the oxidation. Means how the HPLC to see what new chemicals are formed when the pollutant break down. Disappearance of the parent pollutant peak. Pollutant peak and appearance of the intermediate peak should be discussed in the relation to possible degradation pathway. Means track the main pollutant disappearing and new intermediate product appearing. This helps understand how the pollutant is break down step by step. Next is the data processing and the required output. The report must include the following analytical output and the plots. Cyclic volumetrogram showing the oxidation behavior and the scan rate uh, dependence. TOC and the COD. TOC are the COD surrogates. Concentration versus the electrolysis time means make a graph showing the pollutants concentration over time during the electrolysis. TOC measure the total carbon removal and the COD surrogate should be used if the TOC is not available. Next is a frictional mineralization are the percentage at the percentage TOC removal versus the time. Plot how much of the pollutant is fully breakdown over time. This helps to visualize the effectiveness of the electrochemical process. Energy consumption per mass of the TOC and the pollutant removal means calculate how much electricity is used to remove a certain amount of the pollutant. This can be expressed in a kilowatt hours per kilogram of the pollutants and the kilowatt hours per cubic meter of the water. HPLC chromatogram at the selected time interval to infer transformation pathway means include the HPLC graph showing the pollutants and it is intermediate. These graphs help understand how the pollutants break down step by step. Next is a discussion and interpretation. The discussion selection should be converted electrochemical signature with the treatment performance means explain how the data from the experiment CV, HPLC and the TOC related to how will the pollutant is removed. Basically link what the electrode and the reaction show when actual cleaning results. CV behavior should be related to the degradation mechanism. Direct oxidation reverse the radical mediated attack means using the cyclic volumetry result to figure out how the pollutant is being broken down. Direct oxidation or the radical mediated attack. Direct oxidation means pollutant reacts directly at the pollutants and the radical mediated attack reactive species like hydroxyl radical attack the pollutants. Next is the TOC reduction trends should be examined for the pseudo first order or the diffusion limit kinetics. Look at the TOC over time to understand the rate of the pollutant breakdown. Determine whether the reaction is a pseudo first order, means rate depend upon the pollutant concentration and the diffusion limit rate depend upon how the fast the pollutant removed to the electrode. HPLC results should be used to infer whether a partial oxidation or the fully mineralization dominates under the selected condition. Means how using the HPLC graph to see if the pollutant is partially oxidized, being broken into the intermediate pollutants products, and the fully mineralized completely turned into the water, carbon dioxide, the harmless substance. Next is the electrode fooling, mass transfer limitation, and the side reaction effect should be critically evaluated. Means discuss the problem that are affected the process. Means the electrode fooling means electrode get covered or blocked, and the mass transfer limitations means pollutant cannot react the electrode quickly enough. Side reaction, other unwanted chemicals reactions may occur. Environmental and the sustainability implications must also be discussed, including the material durability, electrode recyclability, absence of the chemical agents addition, and the pollutants of the reliable powered at the operation. Next is a scale up the consideration and the sustainability metrics. Scale up proposals should consider the electrode area scaling, modular reactor design, flow through the versus the batch operation, hydraulic retention time, and the current distribution uniform. Means when moving from the lab at a large industrial setup, electrode area scaling means making the electrode bigger to handle more water, wastewater. Modular reactor designs means using the multiple small units that can be combined, and they continue water flowing at testing in batches. Hydraulic retention time means how long water stay in the reactor, and the current distribution uniformly, making sure electricity spread evenly across the electrodes. Next, the key sustainability indicators may include the energy intensity, carbon footprint, potential, operational safety, maintenance need, and the compatibility with the unsteam and the downstream, upstream and the downstream treatment unit. Means check the environment and the potential and the practical performance using energy intensity, how much electricity is used per volume or the waste treatment, environmental impact, and its safety to operate, and how often the equipment needed the repair, and the compatibility, it means can it work with the other water treatment unit before or after. Next is the limitation of the laboratory test. Limitation of the laboratory test and challenges in the industrial deployment should be acknowledged, along with the recommendations for the applied scale validation. Next is a conclusion. The assignment should conclude by the summarizing the pollutant removal performance, electrochemical characteristics, mineralization efficiency, and the estimate energy consumptions. The overall feasibility of the electrochemical advanced oxidation as an industrial wastewater treatment option should be evaluated in the term of the technical effectiveness, scalability, and the sustainability layout. The future work may include the electrode material optimization, hybrid EAOP, biological integration, and the long-term durability testing under the realistic wastewater metrics. Thank you.